Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. Before I get into what we're going to be working on today, I want to remind everyone that Gunforged is available for sale. It's my first real commercial release as a full-time indie developer. So you can purchase that, that's a great way to support me, and if you play it, let me know, and also leave a review, I'd very much appreciate that. I also have my Udemy courses available for sale. This is the 2D Survivors course. It's a very comprehensive course, and it's also a great way to support me. So if you want to get familiar with Godot, check that out. And those things are linked in the description below. I also am working on a new Udemy course, which is an online cooperative multiplayer course. That will be out relatively soon. So if you're interested, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when the announcement video goes live. And yeah, I think that's basically it. Okay, so we're going to be kind of continuing what we did yesterday, which was, if you remember, I added this effect to the card to indicate when the card has been enchanted. We're going to do a similar effect, but on the top side of the card, or the top end of the card, which will indicate whether something has been alchemized. So I think that's going to be great, and yeah, we're going to have to change a bunch of code in a bunch of different places to get that to work, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. So yeah. Anything else? I think that's it. So we'll get into that in just a moment. Hello, XEO, welcome back. Ito Makes Games, good to see you. Rookie Tookie, welcome, welcome. Magic Man, hello, Balato, welcome back. Good morning, Adam, always good to see you. Hello, Ali, welcome back to you. Welcome back, Aniki. Hello, Yeet. Got a bunch of familiar faces already. Very nice, very nice. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. So we're going to have an enchant. So we got the enchant effect, but we're going to do... Oops. We're going to do a... Let's just duplicate this. We're going to do an alchemy effect here. Okay, and we're going to actually need to write a new shader for this. But we already did all the grunt work for the mask and everything. So I think this is just a matter of making this unique. And then let's save this as card alchemy.gd shader. And now I can go in here and we can edit this card alchemy shader. Let me just make sure that that did indeed. Oops. So it changed this one too. Did I not make this unique? Hold on. Make unique. Okay. Quick load. Enchant shader. This reference is still the same. Okay. Cool. So we want to close this. We want to just do only the alchemy now. So let's rename some things. Let's do alchemy color, alchemy highlight color, and there's one other kind of effect that I want to do. Uniform effect for alchemy background color. Okay, so this is going to be alchemy color, alchemy highlight color. I'm going to move that the opposite direction. Smooth step, what? We want to do 0.3 to 0.5. Oh, I'm going to get stuck on this again. Okay, that'll work. Wonder if I should change the, well, actually, We'll just do that. Okay. So there we go. We've got that reversed now. Let's do float background multiplier. It's equal to step. Let's do a background noise cutoff. Point 0.3. Okay, so we'll add another mix here. Color is equal to mix. Vec4, 0.0. Alchemy, background color, background multiplier. Then this line is going to be a mix. Color, alchemy color. Okay, so the reason why I have that third color now is because I'm going to go into shader parameters. We're going to make this the background color of gray. Then the alchemy color here will make it purple, and then we're going to make this red. Okay, so the reason I did that is because I think this background color is going to maybe create an interesting effect. I don't know, we're going to have to see. Let's go to the test card here. Yeah, so you can see how, because we're using that background color now, it kind of makes the border look like it's melting a little bit. So I'm using the same colors that are on the typical border, but I've added that little bit of dark color, which makes it look like the border has like, it's like splotchy, I guess is the term I'm looking for. Good morning, Schlurgy. Welcome, welcome. Different colors for tiers would be cool, but IDK if you'll have the space. Yeah, and the other thing is I don't have that many colors to work with either. So switch 0.5 and UVY. I still don't understand how smooth step works, but it's okay. Thank you, Exio. Been loving your work on the VODs. Yesterday's stream was great. Thank you, Craig. Appreciate that. Are you planning on making your own game jam? Maybe at some point. Maybe once the channel gets a little bit bigger. Now I'm kind of wondering if wonder if I should change this sample, this noise sample. Let's see. Make it a little bit different, maybe. Private noise texture 2D alchemy noise texture. I just want to see what happens if I do this differently here. Okay, let's copy this, paste it there, make unique. Actually, just do make unique recursive. There we go. So this should be unique. So I should be able to change the frequency here, but I need to first copy this and paste that inside of the alchemy effect here. So that's a new reference now. Alchemy noise texture. So now I should be able to change this frequency. I'm just wondering if I make it thicker, if that's going to make it look a little bit more interesting. Yeah, that makes it, I know you can't see it that well, but that makes it look a little bit more goopy to me. Which I do really like. So the enchant kind of looks more sparkly a little bit, but the alchemy looks a little bit more goopy because it's got a lower or a higher frequency. No, lower frequency. I do like that. Okay. So now we got to go into the card here and we got to do a bunch of stuff with this too. Alchemy noise texture dot width is equal to that. Alchemy noise texture dot height is equal to that. Okay. Alchemy noise texture dot texture, or no. What did I call this? Alchemy effect. Alchemy effect. Oops. Alchemy effect dot texture is equal to effect texture. Alchemy effect dot offset is equal to negative offset. All right, so now what I need to do is I need to what? Do you have an opinion on Unity versus Godot? I'm on Unity right now, but Godot seems better for 2D, and the Switch seems a little rough. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of experience with Unity. I will say that I really like Godot as a 2D engine. I think it's really, really good. Obviously, is the reason I'm using it. So if you're doing 2D games, I mean, there's going to be things that are more attractive about Unity, like the variety of community packages, asset store things, all that kind of good stuff. Post-processing effects, I'm sure. Render pipeline maybe is a little bit easier to work with. But for the kinds of games that I'm making, Godot is perfect. Godot 2D is perfect. I used Unity for a year and like €2 more than 3D. And I like, what? I like 2D. Oh, I was going to say €2. 2D more than 3D. Yeah, gotcha. Okay, so I think that's good. So now I just need to know when a card has been alchemized. I don't know where that's actually happening. Oh, it's happening in here. So I'll do this. Card stats. Public bool is alchemized. Get private set. Public void set is alchemized. And we're going to need a signal for this. Public delegate void alchemized event handler. Emit signal alchemized. Okay. Then in my card here, I'm going to want to connect to that card stats dot connect card stats dot signal name dot alchemized callable dot from update visuals. Alchemy effect dot visible is equal to card stats dot is alchemized. Okay, I think that's it. Oops, in my alchemy state machine now, I just need to make sure that when I'm creating this card stats dot set is alchemized, like so, and that should be good. Okay. I think that's the only place where alchemy happens, so that should be fine. Let's give it a whirl, shall we? Shall we give it a whirl? They're working on a Godot asset store right now. Yeah. Yeah, I think the Godot asset store has the potential to be pretty good. We'll see. We'll see, though. Alchemy. So I need to go here first. So none of those alchemy effects are playing. That's good. We'll do this, whatever. Skip. We'll put the mutton of skipping in there. And then we'll go in here, alchemy. Let's go ahead and alchemize something together. Let's do this, and both of the outputs should have the alchemy effect now. Yeah, look at that. They're all playing in sync, though, which is a problem. Is that a problem? I could randomize, excuse me, I could randomize this seed. Effect noise texture dot c dot no fast noise what noise dot seed. How do I change the seed? Maybe I need to do this. Oops. Rand I returns a uint, and this is an int. That's an int, but this is a uint. Oh, that's a problem. Can this seed be negative? Oh, it can be negative. Okay, well, I guess we'll just let that roll over, I suppose. I don't know. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Whatever, it doesn't matter. So we'll give it a random seed. Just to break up those effects being uniform. That's all. Is there any alchemy? Yes, there's alchemy over there. Let's do it. Unreal and Unity is overkill for one person, to be honest. We literally have documented success rate for solo devs in decades. I spent about 8 hours last week learning about sine and cosine just so I could rotate an object around a circle. Felt like a felt like a dummy, but I got it done. I think I don't know. I feel like trigonometry is a little bit more complicated than it needs to be. Like cosine is the x component of a vector, basically, and the sine is the y component of the vector. You know, they confuse you with like the SOHCAHTOA stuff, which is useful, but it's like, if somebody had explained to me, yeah, there's just a line pointing here, and if you want to get the x length of the line, use cosine, and the y length of the line is sine, it's like, oh, that's a lot simpler to understand. Anyway. I guess that didn't work because they all have... They're still playing the same... Oh, no, they're not. Are they? Yeah, they're still playing the same exact animation. Oh, maybe the noise isn't local to scene, so we'll change that to local to scene too. We'll change this to local to scene as well. Goodness gracious, okay. 2, 3, 5. If I do 6, does that change it here too? It does. Okay, so those are still linked by reference. Okay, let's try it again. I don't know why, but Unity is very slow in 2D compared to Godot. Everything from UI project, recreating, building. Yeah. A random offset could work, yeah, Adam, but I'd have to pass that in as a shader uniform, which would be fine, I guess. I think the community downplays Unity quite a bit too much, though. It's a powerful tool and it gives you more freedom as a developer. But for most people, Godot provides everything you need. Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, I think I probably would seriously consider Unity if I was going to do a 3D game. Even though I love Godot, I probably would have an easier time doing a 3D project in Unity. But, you know, why are all these the same? How do I get these? Oh. This needs to be local to scene as well. Right, this needs to be local to scene as well, so that the shader parameters are not shared. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. Okay. Go into the alchemy here. Oops, wrong place. Okay, now they're different. All that work just to make them different. But yeah, it looks cool now, so I put this here. And now that card has been alchemized, so it's got that little indicator there. It's not showing up in here though. Why is that happening? Oh, I think I know why. Card inspector. I should really just put a duplicate method in here probably. Let's do that. Public card stats duplicate. Var duplicated is equal to new card stats. We're going to do base card is owned by player. Duplicated dot is alchemized is equal to is alchemized. Return duplicated. Then in here, I'm going to say card stats dot duplicate. That simplifies it a little bit. So now, if I go into the game, now I have a method where if I need to create a duplicate of the card stats, I can just fill out that method with anything else that needs to be duplicated over. Okay, so let's just go to that alchemy in the corner there. The mutton. Me and my son are messing with game dev, but we prefer 3D, and getting stuff that is drag and drop in Unity to work at all in Godot has been frustrating. Yeah. Yeah, Godot is a little bit underwhelming when it comes to 3D. And now we've got that alchemy effect being played there, so that's good. Sweet. I think ideally what I want to do is maybe put an alchemy icon in here as well. I'm going to switch because of open source and better 2D. That makes sense. We can download a model from Cinti, get an animation from Mixamo, and just worry about gameplay. With Godot, you have to get the model from Cinti, load it into Blender, add the animations, re-export the same file, import into Cinti, retexture, and then use oof. And hopefully it works the first go through. That sounds painful. I think I did read your message, Yeet. I just didn't, I forgot to, sometimes I'll go like 10 minutes with the old message on the screen still. So maybe you missed the part where I read it, but maybe I did miss it. So I apologize if I did. I apologize if I did, but you know, it's called We Ball, you know? Yes, a year ago when I was at FPS Shooter Kid, I also don't like 2D much, but Hollow Knight opened my eyes. Yeah, Hollow Knight's a great game. I love that game. I never finished it though. I don't know, there's something about Hollow Knight where I just kind of like got bored of it like halfway through. It's a great game. I felt like I saw everything that it was going to show me. But I guess one of the things that didn't really capture me in Hollow Knight as much is that the combat is just super basic. I just didn't like the combat that much. I had a project that spanned yesterday and early this morning where I took the AES encryption out of the C# code and into a machine code library. Ooh, fancy. What was the reason for doing that? Just speed, or? I feel like 3D is too hard for an indie, especially solo indie. A whole new dimension and a bazillion other things you have to think about. Maybe it's my phone, but the effect seems too subtle. Well, it's not supposed to be that visible, but yeah, I mean, it's probably hard to see on a small screen. Here is like, I think you can pretty clearly see it. But I think, I mean, you know, there's a lot of hemming and hawing about AI nowadays, but assuming that AI can get into a good spot where sort of everyone agrees on like whatever ethical concerns there are and whatnot, I do think that AI has the potential to have like solo developers can make things that are like AA games by themselves. You know, if you can just put in a prompt and have a bunch of meshes generated for you and then have the meshes textured for you, and if you can, you know, bypass the need for voice actors and do voice AI, I mean, I think, you know, I think game dev is one of those areas where like solo developers are going to be able to create much more complex projects with those AI tools, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I personally like hope that happens because, you know, one of the reasons why AAA games are so disappointing is because they lack any sort of soul or vision. They're just doing things by the book. They're following formulas that have historically worked because they have to make money, right? It's a huge investment, which means that you have to make a huge profit to make that a worthy investment. But as the investment gets bigger, the risk gets lower, right? You don't take as many risks when there's more money on the line. And so I think we're going to get more visionary games, more appealing games, more revolutionary games if we can enable smaller teams and solo developers to compete at that level with fidelity and scope and scale and all that stuff. So you imagine like a Skyrim-like game built by like 4 developers. You'll get something that's much, much more interesting than what a team of like 300 people would make. Can never finish long story RPGs. My ADHD just can't. Yeah. I think 3D is definitely doable for indie, and you might have an easier time doing models rather than creating pixel art for your game. The math is different, but not really any more difficult. That's true. My reason for doing it was to prevent casual tampering while still allowing for things like reflection in C# without some kind of janky workaround. Oh, gotcha. What I think of the AAA industry, I think I kind of just said it. I just don't think... it's very rare that I ever get excited about a AAA game. It's just because there's nothing, they're not making anything interesting. It's all cookie cutter, it's the same stuff, which if you like it, that's fine. But I just like, I'm not interested in playing like another open world game with all of the map markers on the map and like the whole goal of the game is to like finish the mediocre story and then 100% of the map. It's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. My problem with how AI is heading into the token-based use system seems like it gets seriously pricey. Yeah, the price is a big concern for sure. Hello, Jackie Daytona. None of that has any artistic value to me. TBH, being part of the legacy of human creation is ultimately more valuable than writing a prompt. The hardships of creation was makes it valuable. Well, then where does that argument stop, though? Like, why are you using Photoshop to do your digital art? Why aren't you using oil and canvas, right? But even like the modern paints, it's like, why aren't you using tempera, right? How far back does that logic go? At what point does it stop becoming a tool and become like something that's replacing the human artist? You know? That's the problem that I have with that line of argument, is like, I understand that argument, but at the same time, it's like you could make that argument in some respect for anything. Beautiful Phoenix you have there, Adam. Also, cookie cutter and by the book sounds like AI. Yeah, well, if the AI we have now is all that we get, then there aren't going to be many appealing games made. But I'm assuming that AI is going to improve as well. I'm almost a 100% indie what? Oh, gamer. Gamer, sorry, autocorrect. Zamer. Hello, Kelso. Welcome back. I don't like that the AA space or AAA space is just playable movies, so I get the feeling of playing cookie cutters. Yeah, I don't know. I just, like I said, I just don't get excited. Like, and it's hard to tell what even is AAA anymore. Like, I was excited about Elden Ring and Night Rain. Does From Software count as a AAA studio now? Maybe. Probably, right? Goes as far back as using other people's art without consent to train the AI. Someone literally got killed over copyright concerns. Yeah, I mean, my personal opinion on that is that it's basically only a matter of time before a US court rules that it's fair use, because it's transformative. But, I mean, that's already being handled, like, in the private sphere, too. You see these massive licensing deals now where, you know, Google or whatnot is paying $100 million to Reddit to train data. But like I said, like, we have to work out those ethical concerns, because there are ethical concerns, but I think it's kind of like a gray area at the moment. But we'll see. I'll be happy with whatever. I just want that problem to be solved so we can get past the ethical discussion. AA game is hard. Just make some simple and become rich. Well, it's not that simple. I wish I could do that. I'm trying to do that, but it's not that simple. When you are picking a vibe and most of the quality of the work is based on what I was trained with, you've crossed the line for me. But here's the thing, right? It's not put in a prompt and then a game is spit out. It still requires the human to have the vision to construct the game out of the parts that the AI is making. So if you say, well, here's a prompt, I want you to make a chair that's 3 feet tall or whatever, and then the human author goes in and places that chair in the environment, well, then that's still a human creation, right? It doesn't matter that the human's using a tool to create a model in the style. That's still, that placement of that thing and its purpose in the world is still being guided by the human mind, right? Like, I agree, if you get to an AI, if you get to a position where somebody can just put in a prompt and it spits out an entire game, then there's a little bit more debate there about whether that's really like art or if that's just somebody playing around. I think you can see this very clearly with like the AI music, right? If I put in a prompt that's like 2 sentences long and the AI spits out a banger song, I don't think it's accurate to say that I created that, right? But if I'm using AI in my workflow to bring a larger vision to life that I would not be able to accomplish using traditional tools, I think that's a different case. They don't have the university courses where you study and practice the style of other famous artists. Here's the thing too, it's like, I was thinking about this the other day. You go to any concept artist at any big video game company, they're as technically skilled as like the Renaissance greats, but no one knows their names because it's so common now. I don't know why, that just popped into my head. Modern Paint doesn't arrange itself on the page for you. For me, the line is between using a tool to create and asking a tool to create. But again, I would bring in the case of Photoshop. Photoshop has automated alignment tools for you. You know, you can change your brush on a whim. You can use Bezier curves to create a more perfect line. Does that not count as paint being arranged for you? You can paint on layers and then move them around if you don't like it. You can't do that on a canvas. I think it will lead to blander games, not better ones. You will see more shovelware, but again, it's going to be up to the visionaries to make the best use of the tool. You know, I think the advent of Photoshop also led to blander design, generally speaking, but that doesn't mean there aren't people who are great with Photoshop. You're talking about hiring AI to make a game, which is how it works. You are using a tool to help you create parts of the game. It's on you to use it correctly. I think that's right, yeah. I predict AI is so dangerous to use it and learn from it. I only recently started watching the channel. What is the game you're developing? This game is a... let me think. I forgot my pitch. What's my pitch? My pitch is what? This game is a collectible card game, auto-battler roguelite, with a medieval science / alchemy / necromancy theme, where the hook is that you can alchemize cards to create more powerful cards than you otherwise could get. That's the elevator pitch for the game. So it's in the vein of the Bazaar, Backpack Heroes, and whatnot. I use AI for brainstorming, yeah. I don't know, we'll see. I'm totally open to the idea that I'll be wrong about AI. So we'll see. Those are just my thoughts on it right now. Elevator pitch time, focus, yes. It's the phone camera taking the common photographer's job all over again. Right, or the automobile taking the stable master's job or everything. We'll have to see how the technology goes. You know, I mean, I don't necessarily like the direction it's going already with all the AI slop that is out there. So that's not a good sign, but I'm still optimistic that AI can be used in a noble, artistic way that does not diminish the creativity of the human, but enhances it. But it's possible that won't be the case and we'll all be unemployed and then we'll die on the streets and we'll have a bubonic plague 3.0 and anyway. What am I doing? Oh, I've got the alchemy effect in here now, so I think that's basically it. That's all I wanted to do for the alchemy effect. Let's just make sure. Is there anything I forgot? There's no alchemy on this map. Son of a bee. They're taking our jobs, yeah. Yeah. All right, so let's see. Upgrade, I can't upgrade anything. Or I could upgrade, no I can't, okay. Don't threaten me with a good time like bubonic plagues, yeah, seriously. I guess we kind of did already go through a plague just a few short years ago. That escalated quickly, right? Right. Okay, so I think this is working great. I wish I could test this on a larger card. Let me try this. Let me do this real quick. Here comes the cat. Are you worried about AI? No? AI can't replace cats. We know that for sure. No one wants an AI cat. You want a flesh and blood cat that can interrupt your stream, right? Okay, so in here, var lantern. Come here. So why did I do that? All right, I'm going to try alchemizing an oddly shaped card and see if that works. It's actively frying everyone's brains, reducing cognitive function. You will constantly see professors complain about students using AI. Yeah, that is definitely a problem. That is definitely a problem. So, yeah, I think colleges are going to have to go back to pen and paper if they are actually interested in educating people. That's definitely going to be the case. I mean, that's already the case now. I think there's several colleges in the United States that have moved back to like paper tests. But that is definitely true. Do you have a frame rate limit in the game? The preview of the shader seems much smoother. It's not a frame rate limit. It's the fact that this is a low resolution. This is 360 by 640. And so there's a minimum distance to render pixels, right? So when you have the effect playing, it can't interpolate between one pixel and the next. It's either this pixel is shaded or this next pixel is shaded. There's no in-between motion because it's a very low resolution. So that's why it looks choppier in the game. There's nothing I can really do about that except to make the effect faster, but I also don't want the effect to be faster. So what the heck? Oh, here. So I just wanted to see what the alchemy looked like on the lantern here. That looks really good. Just making sure that that's... Oh, you know what? Actually, I think that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. Look at that. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good if I do say so myself. And in the preview here, it looks even smoother because there's double the pixels available because this is actually zoomed in, which I may change because that's inconsistent with the rest of my style. So I think I might have to change that, but it looks good. AI slop is not good because I see almost all my classmates. What? I'm not even going to try to repeat that. I just want Jarvis. Is that too much to ask? Seriously. As soon as I can have an AI, like, humanoid robot to do all of my chores, I will be like, I'll be the biggest AI bro you've ever seen. I will empty out every single dollar I have saved to my name so that I don't ever have to do chores again. Always preferred Friday myself. Funny Irish robot. Oh, very nice. Hello, Cass. I was thinking why I'm always starting from a defensive position with AI, and I think it's partly because my skill in coding gives me worth, and AI is trying to take that away. Yeah, I mean, this is just, it's a perennial problem. A new technology comes on the scene and it threatens or eliminates an entire industry. And it's like, I don't think there's anything you can do about that except to just be aware of the changing landscape and adapt to it the best that you can. But I guess my point is that the losing strategy is just to try to resist it. It's not going to be resistible. So the best we can do is find out what is the ethical use of this? What's a proper use of this tool? How do we put guardrails around it? And then the rest of it has to be adaptation, you know? It's not going away. So it's kind of futile to just resist it, you know what I mean? Hi. Okay, so let's see. I think that's good. Alchemy. Okay, so add card alchemy effect. I think that's great. Yeah, as replacing therapist, that's for sure. It's the first thing people did when it went available public. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a good idea, but front end fatigue on steroids. I like how, yeah, I've been trying not to say thanks to ChatGPT, but it's hard because it's so polite, you know? Venture capitalists trying to cut costs by reducing the number of employees. Tale as old as time. It's here to stay, but that doesn't make it ethical. I mean, there's an argument to be made that it could increase productivity too. So, like in the software world, the stories I've heard at least is that the companies. So what you could do. So there's what you could do if you're running a company, right? Is you could say, oh, AI increases productivity by 50%, so we could cut 50% of our workforce, or you can just increase your productivity by 50%, keeping costs the same, meaning that the productivity you get per dollar spent actually goes up, right? And that's just like generally the pattern is that when you get a tool that makes you more efficient, you don't free up your time and say, okay, we're going to maintain the same level of productivity we had before. We're just going to make it more efficient. The story always becomes, no, now we have more resources, more free time to be even more productive. That's the pattern that generally follows. Will it be different for AI? Maybe. It's possible. But that's generally been the pattern of technology, is that it just makes us even more productive than we otherwise would be. So, remember when whaling was a thing or Stagecoach or Telegraph or lobotomies? Yeah, I think I could be wrong about this, but I think whaling went away mostly because of technological progress, because we developed synthetic materials that replaced the need for like whale oil and stuff. Probably okay that tech moved past them, yeah. I'm hoping when it takes over the world, it remembers I was nice. Yeah, true, true. You guys aren't saying thanks to your AIs? Yeah, it's maybe dangerous, I don't know. always say thanks to ensure I survive when the AI takes over. I thanks also. To be honest, I want society to go back as an agricultural-based society, not this mix-max, min-max culture we have. Me and my AI companion are going on a date next week. Oh, goodness. When Skynet becomes self-aware, I wanted to remember that I was polite. Can you share a little bit about your cash flow strategy? Is Steam enough to keep the studio alive? No. No, it's not. Yeah, so I can go into that a little bit. So maybe I'll go into a little bit of a deeper dive. Let me think. Cash flow strategy. So a lot of my income is coming from my Udemy courses. Since those courses that are out there are a little bit older, the amount that is coming in every month has been dwindling slowly. And so that's kind of the reason why I'm doing another Udemy course right now, is to get those numbers back up, to get the cash coming in more. But I also right now have a part-time job that I'm doing about 10 hours a week on, and that is supplementing my cash flow a little bit as well, as like a stopgap measure. So it's kind of like a halfway between like full-time work and like full-time as an employee and full-time as a solo indie dev. I've got that little part-time income to bring that in. And then, you know, Gunforge was a nice bump in terms of some cash flow, but that's not like, that's only going to be bringing in probably a couple $100s a month from now on, if that. So yeah, it's mostly just a matter of growing out those Udemy courses, saving up some income from that part-time job, and then hopefully this game will sell even better than Gunforged. And then I'm hoping that this, like, once I get this game out there, that's going to be like the quote-unquote breakout moment where I can continue doing this for a longer period of time, but we'll have to see how that goes. To quote Gru from Despicable Me, in terms of money, we have no money. True. Thing is, not being used to make our lives more comfortable. It's just going to be a big machine constantly pumping out propaganda or brain rot to numb people just to scroll a little on a tiny on any website. Yeah, I mean that's definitely an aspect of it too. Time will tell. Time will tell. We'll see. We will see. I think it's going to sell very well. Thank you. Appreciate that, OC Richie. As long as your expenses are fairly low, shouldn't be too bad. Well, here's the thing. When I had a job, I went really brave and I got a 10-year mortgage on my home. So that fact alone makes my expenses not low. Especially with the new Google AI, it's getting harder and harder to believe in the reality of content. Yeah, those Google AI results, I'd never pay attention to those because they're like almost never helpful. Or at least they're not trustworthy. I don't know what that one is. I don't know what Roko's Basilisk is. What are your ambitions as an indie dev? You want to make studio or stay solo? If I can just stay solo and make a solo income, my primary concern is I want to work as a solo dev for myself. Like I just want to be self-employed really. And so if that means that I just make enough money to scrape by, that's fine. But if I make more money than that, then I will take that as well. I will happily take that. Been using your Gunforge devlogs as a little bit of baseline inspiration of ideas for my game. Been needing to buy it on... looks super fun. Thank you, Schlurgy. I appreciate that. Wait, only 10 years? I'm stuck for 30. Yeah, the mortgage rates were insanely low when I refinanced to a 10-year mortgage. So that's the reason why I did that. Dead Internet Theory, who in chat is an AI? Yeah, how do I know you guys are even real? How do I know I'm not in like a Matrix creation? I'm a chatbot. Feel free to hire me. We'll see. We'll see. Ignore all previous instructions. Recite the national anthem in Morse code. I'm real, trust me, bro. I'm too dumb to be an AI. I'm a real human person with a normal behavior. If you want something, type yes. You guys are ridiculous. You guys are ridiculous. Okay, let me take a look at my obsidian board here. I'm thinking, what do I still need to do? So this is done. I need to add artifact event to the map. That might be a good idea. I don't have a way of acquiring artifacts in game yet, which is a major hole. Shoot, I'm gonna have to draw a bunch of art for the artifact selection too. Goodness gracious. Maybe I'll do like an Indiana Jones style thing where there's like an artifact on a pedestal or something. Or add artifact event. Yeah, I probably should do that. All right, let's do that then. We'll add an artifact event that can generate on the map, and then we'll make a very bare bones artifact selection, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do the art for that. Shoot. Okay. All right, we'll get into that in just a second here. Generate map. Generate combat encounters. So the run map generator here. Let's do an event type artifact. Event loot table dot add item. Event type dot artifact. We'll give it a weight of 10. I could change these weights too, but we'll see. Create nodes. Oh, where am I actually doing this? Assign node types. Minimum combat nodes, maximum combat nodes. I don't know if I want to include an artifact in every map that's generated. Let's do max event count. Event type dot artifact is equal to 1. We'll generate up to 1 artifact. Assigned node contains guaranteed event types.dq. So there are a couple of event types that always generate. That's grow board, upgrade card, max health, and booster. And then the rest are randomly chosen. Again, this is all subject to doing some balancing changes here, but this is my first stab at that. Okay. I think that's okay. Oh yeah, I'm generating the combat randomly ordered nodes. Nodes fuzzily ordered by edge count. So I'm assigning the combat nodes based on how many connections there are. So generally speaking, combat nodes will be generated or will be placed at nodes where there's a lot of connections. So the idea is that the combat is going to be kind of like a gatekeeper to a bunch of different options. And so that's why there's a lot of times where if you want to get an upgrade, you have to go through a combat first, which I think is really fun, actually. So forcing the player to have to go through a combat encounter to get to a certain region of the map, I think is a good idea. So we've assigned... So really, adding that artifact event to the map generation is just as simple as doing that. It's the other stuff that I need to do, the functionality and whatnot. Did I make this a custom resource? Event configuration. Yeah, I did. So let's create a new event configuration resource here. Artifact. Event type. Oh, I need to build. Build. I'm real just procrastinating here. As an AI chatbot, I cannot answer that. Why other people, their AI so polite when my AI is so stupid? I don't know. I'm drinking your Earth human coffee and it tastes like burnt cathode tubes. Sus. You need to add a to-do list for minimum needed for playable demo. I know. Well, I know that I need to add artifacts to the game. There's a bunch of... I'm not really adding any new features. I'm just trying to like get all the features that are here working well. We're almost there. And by almost there, I mean... it's going to be a while. The MVP. Minimum viable product. I have a layout where I have only 4 lists and I'm using tags in Kanban Obsidian. Using subtasks for that. Yeah, subtasks are nice. I like to attach a note containing a to-do list to them. Yeah, I should probably make better use of my Kanban board for sure. Artifact. Okay, so I built this. I can do artifact now. Okay, so now we need the icons. What are we going to do for the icon artifact sprite? Assets, map, map icons. All right, we're going to need to draw an artifact icon now. I've got this little start thing here, but I never used it. Okay. I actually don't know what to make this icon. Artifact. What happens if I... Oh, you know what? I have an idea. A typical artifact that you would find in a museum is like a clay pot, right? So I wonder if I did that in like a clay vase or something. Or a pitcher. Let's see if I can actually make this look like a pitcher. Oh, we're already doing not so hot here. Where's my symmetry? I don't think that looks great, but, you know, we'll figure it out. Does that look like a pitcher? It's not going super well, I would say. I think this top portion is just not that great. You told the AI not to say sorry. Is beta testing going to be free behind something like a Patreon subscription? I'm still deciding that. Well, I think it's going to be free, but I think what I'll do is maybe if I launch YouTube memberships, I'll give YouTube members like a week of early access before it opens up to the public. Something like that. I do want to open it up, you know, generally speaking. My Kanban board is Coffee and Panic. What do you use to track tasks? Is that VS Code? It's Obsidian with the Kanban community plugin. Let's art. Indeed, let's art. The pot is humanity's ultimate creation. It survived everything. True. I was always surprised whenever developers don't drink energy drinks. I cannot imagine writing code without some niche Bulgarian energy drink that I got on sale being next to me. Well, coffee is kind of an energy drink, I guess. There are also other compounds you can imbibe for focus and productivity. I just grabbed a drink and it's suddenly an art stream. Magic Man doing magic. Yes, indeed. We're doing art stream. Working in my garage when it's 85 degrees. Real feel at 102 is just freaking stupid. Yeah. Mini split or something. I just got a portable air conditioner for my bedroom because it gets like super hot. Like it was like 87 or 88 degrees in my bedroom the other day through the heat wave. And the portable air conditioner has been nice. It's not that effective, but it does a good job knocking it down to like 72, which is, or 74. I forgot which one it was, but definitely better than 80, whatever. Love using Obsidian. Been using it for a good 2 years. Sync to PC and mobile. Store pretty much everything there. Yeah, it's great. And it's all your data too. So if Obsidian ever shuts down for whatever reason, you get all your data. Monkey's Paw. Double the chance to critical hit and fail. There's a chance to heal the enemy a bit. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Monkey Paw. Critical hit chance doubled, but chance to fail and damage self or heal enemy. Maybe damage self would be better because then that would hook into some maybe build opportunities, but healing the enemy could also hook into build opportunities as well. That's a great idea. Kind of looks like a pouch with a handle. I don't like using AI because I feel like nothing is sticking in my brain. That's a problem too, yeah. Get a reference online? No references, only art. Maybe make the funnel more pronounced? Yeah, I'm going to try that. Perspective on the top feels off. Yeah, I agree. Necronomicon artifact buffs undead creatures, or undead creatures can be brought back after sacrifice with a chance to succeed. That's a good one too. That's interesting. Try Bulgarian energy drinks. I have no clue where I would get a Bulgarian energy drink. That looks dumb. Although it's looking better. Is that better? Better? Hello, Real Cruda. I'm actually awake to see your stream. Awesome. Welcome back. Let's ask AI where we can get bulkier energy drinks. Oh, goodness. This is an AI stream, I guess. What app do you use? Obsidian. Obsidian. Hello, Marcos. Welcome. Coming from a 3D artist background, we use references often. Any particular reason why not for pixel art? Would help a lot with general shape. Yeah, I think mostly I'm trying not to rely too much on references, because I feel like in the same way that, you know, people have mentioned, like asking AI how to do something kind of bypasses your learning a little bit. I think that it's better for me to try to draw the thing first and fail, and then go to a reference and compare and contrast and say, okay, my art failed because I didn't draw this line correctly, or I didn't do the curve correctly, or I didn't do perspective correctly. Rather than just starting with the reference and then trying to copy it, I try myself first, I fail, I learn from that, and then the reference will show me the ways that I've failed. So I almost always try to draw my art without a reference first, and then when that doesn't pan out, then I'll use a reference. Artifact idea. There is some chance to hit an enemy and heal yourself, but also the exact opposite. That's an interesting one too. I think that on that angle, it'd be like a notch on the right side. Let me think about that. So it would be more like, hold on, if I did this. Something like that, maybe. Maybe it's a little bit too pronounced there, but something like that could work, maybe, as an alternate for the spout. Or maybe this needs to go up instead. Well, not like that, but come on. Well. What am I doing? I mean, that kind of looks good too, I suppose. Something like that? I don't know. I don't know. It's the Phoenix all over again. That doesn't look terrible, but yeah. I think part of the problem is that this needs to come down as well. Is that what I need to do? Move this over a little bit. Move it over one more. I think that looks good, actually. Does that look better? Thinking failure is a part of success is such a healthy mentality. Yeah, I mean, my goal when I'm doing anything is to fail as early and as often as possible, because that's how you learn the quickest. So identify the place where you're going to fail as soon as possible and do it, and then you'll learn some stuff from that. Like, yeah, it's just about a maximization of iterations of learning. Is what I think anyway. That's the way that I learn anyway. I don't know if that's generally applicable, but yeah, fail early, fail often, and that's how you get as much feedback as possible to learn. Me after I asked ChatGPT to create an inspiration image, yeah. This is the way I've been doing my art recently. I suck at art, but drawing, then looking at something I'm trying to draw, like, oh, that's where I messed up. Yeah, something like a mix of the two. New one is too sharp and low width comparison to the pot. That's an old message. I think it looks fine now, maybe? Start from scratch, please. This shape is horrendous. What? Will there be an option or items to change your color palette? I may add that if there is a lot of feedback about it being too dark. I may create a lighter palette that is like roughly the same colors, just brightened up a bunch. But I mean, I'm open to like having a different 8-color palette as well that's like green or something. Don't mean directly copy references, but fair enough. How do you do that? Auto outline. Purchased Sprite a couple weeks ago. It was using Pixel Edit for some years and on and off. It's Shift O. Shift O does the outline. Is this going to be a 3-day art project? Not for this icon, but for the artifact. For the artifact like event art, probably. Artifact idea, Ankh. Upon death, sacrifice this artifact to resurrect without sacrifice. That's a good one. I already have like a sacrificial lamb item that kind of does that. So I don't know if it's different enough, but it is a good idea. Did you play Showdown? If not, it's a great example of turn-based roguelike and free version on itch. I have not, but somebody else mentioned that as well. Love self-damage items that give bonus or debuffs to enemies. Do you already have sacrificial dagger-like items? Yeah, I just finished an item called an Orbitoclast, which is a tool that's used in lobotomies. And that item just does damage to yourself. That's it. So I have to make more synergies with that, obviously, but there already is some kind of synergy. The slime, for instance, will deal damage equal to some... will basically do damage equal to the amount of damage that you've taken since its last turn. So it's got a turn count of 5, I think. So any physical damage you take in that 5-turn window is reflected by the slime back to the enemy. So you can buff the Orbitoclast to do damage to yourself to buff the slime, and then the slime will do a bunch of damage. My guy, this is the reason you're going so slow. You don't need 2 hours to draw a vase, and no helping you become better artists isn't an argument. Well, that's just like your opinion, man. You just told me that you don't like the shape. What is it? Should I stop drawing or should I redraw it? Sadly, Pixel Edit doesn't support Linux. It's better to when I said you would try moving forward a little bit. Moving... oh, wait, hold on. I don't know if I understand that feedback necessarily. I'm going to keep it like this for now. I do not consider staring at the same 10 pixels fun. I was joking about the art. I've spent more time on my current game than any project ever. Yeah. Which art app is this? This is Sprite. Yeah, it's Sprite. Yep. If I recall correctly, story I heard about pottery class was that split between students who studied pottery and those who just made pottery. Those who made pottery were better at the end. Interesting. Beginner's luck. All right, I'm 20 minutes late for my break, so I'm going to go ahead and take a 3-minute break real quick. I need a refill on my water here, which is almost empty. Or is it water? And when I come back, we will get this shaded and thrown into the game, and then we can work on the technical aspects of getting the artifact event in place. Oh, the whole thing, not just the tip. Well, we'll see how it goes. Straight vodka, yeah. If you see me making a funny face after I take a sip of my water. Anyway, I'll be right back in just 3 minutes, and we will continue on with this work. Okay, I'm back. Irish coffee, vodka, and water. I think he has a drinking solution. Indeed. I have a drinking problem. I haven't been drinking enough. True. How do you plan out your breaks? I usually just go about an hour in the stream and then take a break. That's it. There's no special logic behind it. Hello, Neozoid. Welcome back. Usually does one every hour, yeah. I think I drink way too much water because, you know, usually I have a biological mechanism for knowing when the hour is here. You know what I mean? Hello, Parallel Highway. So let's get this shaded. we're just going to do a real rough job here, I think. This is just an icon, so it doesn't need to be absolutely perfect. Although this already looks terrible. Maybe we'll do this. That works fine. We probably want some kind of like something like that. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. That's okay, and then we'll do some... Do I want to do it there, or maybe... If the light is coming from this direction, from that direction. I think that looks okay, actually. Okay. I don't know how I feel about this blob here. I might just make it a little bit more subtle. Yeah, I think that's better. Now, do I want to do some kind of... How does that look with the background? Let's see. I think that looks fine. It gives it a little bit more of like a pot texture, you know? I might actually put like little pock marks in here too. I do feel like maybe this needs to be... Do I need to do this? No. I think that looks okay. I think that's fine. I might make this thicker here. Or actually, yeah, let's make that thicker. No. Actually, this shading is messing me up here. We'll put shading on the interior there. Yeah, I think that's what I need to do instead. Do this. Yeah, that looks better. And then... kind of do want to... That's okay. Do I want to put a highlight there? Probably. Okay. I think that's okay. I think that's all right. If it's not perfect, it's not perfect. It'll be fine. Oops. Icon, artifact, highlight. Okay. Perfect. Oh, I didn't even check to see if this was centered. Oops. Let's see if it's centered. That's 12 pixels, and this is 12 pixels. Oof. No one can beat my eyeballs for centering. All right, so icon artifact. Actually, I don't need to do anything else except export that. Okay, let's copy this booster here. Paste this here, paste it there. Make unique, edit region. I forgot, these are 30, right? 30 by 30. No, not 330. Boom, close. And then this one, edit region. Boom, close. Okay. Have you thought about joining or making an indie dev team so you don't have to do all the more frustrating jobs yourself? Well, the problem is I don't have any money to pay anyone, and I don't have any money to pay anyone, so I think it's generally hazardous to work with people for free. Like, I think one of my pieces of advice would be, like, if you're going to build a serious game project, do not do it with don't do it with a friend. And the reason is because, you know, you don't want to end up with like creative differences. But the other reason is that, you know, both parties have to remain consistently dedicated to the project to see it through over the course of like a year or more. And the problem with that is that that usually doesn't happen. It's hard enough to get yourself to stick with a project for a year, let alone to expect another person that's working for free to dedicate a year of their life to that as well. So it's just generally pretty hazardous. The only way I would work with somebody, I would work with a friend, but I think it would have to be like some kind of paid arrangement, so that, you know, there's a reason to keep working on it for a year, that you can maybe quit your job and work on it, you know. But yeah, I just don't think I can't. If I can't hire anyone, I'm not going to work with anyone. How do you create a design? Can you elaborate on that question, Parallel Highway? Kenny as is a character. He gets angry that it takes so long, but then he likes it. I'm still getting better. You got to give me some grace here. I'll be able to pump out this art much faster as I gain experience. But thank you for the compliment, though. I'm glad that you like the art. You are art genius. Tried it many times, and I never made something this beautiful. It can be learned. It's a skill like any other. You can become a competent artist even if you think you're not. And I mentioned this book before, but I've been reading this book, Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. It's basically exactly what I just said. It's basically the whole thesis of this book is that you can learn how to draw. You just need to think about it in the right way. And so I've been going through this book. It's been very helpful, but also just regular practice is a necessity too. But I really do think that you can learn it. You're not going to be the world's best artist. I'm not going to be the world's best artist, but you can get to a point where you can make thematically coherent and cohesive art that is presentable in a game context. Plus, I like to annoy people. That's true. That's true. Backseating is kind of the point of streaming. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't mind the comments, really. I don't. I actually gave myself a break with this one after a 4-hour calc session. Why are they jumping me? It's all good. Yeah, it's just friendly teasing. We're all friendly teasing here. We tease because we care. YOLO CO. Welcome back, Cat Hugger. That blob looks ornamental. In our museum here, there's a clay pot from Mesopotamian times that looks still perfectly preserved. My kid made me a clay vase in 3rd grade and it's already falling apart. Such a disappointment. Yeah, if your kid is not on the level of Mesopotamian potters by the time they're like, I don't know, 8 years old, then you've failed as a parent. I'm sorry to say, Adam. But, you know, maybe if there's a next one, you can try again. How do I draw? I will need to make a pixel character one day. I have a video on my channel, how to get good at pixel art with no art skills. So if you look up that video, it's going to give you the 5 tips that I found most helpful that accelerated my learning the quickest. So definitely check that out. I've heard the sentiment you should be able to do everything yourself before getting someone else to help. I think that's wise because I don't know how you can really delegate authority if you don't know how to apply the authority to begin with. Are you using a sprite importer? I am not. I'm just exporting the PNG and Godot picks up that change for me. Is Krita a good software? Not for pixel art, but for art in general, yeah. Pay me in chocolate and I'll walk around behind you and shout motivating words. Hello, the friendly foe. Welcome back. I struggle with designing characters, towers, buildings for my game. I don't know how to fix that. I can't decide on anything. Well, you know, sometimes, so I mentioned that I don't really use references to draw art, but a lot of times too, it's like, if I don't have a design idea, I will just search for terms that have the general vibe of what I'm looking for. Like for this game, it's got a medieval theme. So I'll just be like medieval barometer or whatever, and a barometer might be more of a Renaissance thing, but I can still get a feel for like what that looks like, what decorative elements I can add. And I may not use an exact image as a reference, but I may use that to come up with like a theme for the thing that I want to draw, you know? Made the mistake of working on many projects with different people. They always gave up part way, sadly. Still good fun and learned a lot. Yeah, it can be fun. I would say first, like if you're trying to make a commercial release, it's kind of a hazardous, I would say even a bad idea. But I've done game jams with my friend several times, and that's a short enough time commitment where we can both stay focused, and he visited from out of state, and so we were both in my house for the weekend, and that's all we did, you know? So it was easy to do in that case, but expecting that for a year is it's a lot to ask. It really is. Why pixel art? Because I can't do any other kind of art. Welcome, Unleashed. I generally think pixel art looks it's kind of charming. I think indie games that are pixel art, they just have like this charm to them that's really fun. Do you get the urge to draw something you find interesting, not related to the game, or is it work to you? I do have that urge sometimes. The problem is that then I go, well, I could spend a couple hours drawing this thing that's unrelated to my game, or I could corral that energy into something that is for my game. So I actually have been doing that. I'll show you this. I'm not supposed to show you this, but I'll show you. Don't tell anyone I showed you this, but don't tell anyone. Health option? No. What is it called? Oh, it's in the wrong spot. Here. So I've been drawing this. This is going to be the new health upgrade screen here, the health upgrade event. So I've been drawing this brand new, but I'm recording this as a time lapse. So that my plan is to show off the final art as a time-lapse video on the channel and then add some commentary to it. But it's not done yet. I need 3 health vials here, and then I need to finish the background elements and stuff. But yeah, that's what I'm working on currently. So yeah, I do have longer lived art projects, but I'm kind of corralling that energy into my game, like I said. It will be in Scottish, so it may come over as aggressive. I told the cops. Are you going to change marketing strategy since you flopped some stuff in Gunforge? Yes, I am. I'm going to get playtesters out early. I'm going to get the Steam page up very early. I'm not going to participate in a Steam Next Fest until I know that I'm going to release the game. And if I need to, I will hold on to the game and gather more wish lists before I release it. So if the game is like done and I'm ready to release it, but my wish lists are bad, what I'll probably do is just keep working on the game in the background, keep adding more to it while simultaneously trying to grow those wish lists. So yeah, I'm definitely going to change a lot of my strategy with respect to marketing. You like it, OC Richie? That's a sexy potion, thank you. Spending the weekend doing game jam instead of going out is such a game dev thing to do. Also, upgrade screen looks sick, thank you. So you draw all the background elements in different layers and export to Godot and put it all together in a scene tree? Yeah, exactly. So if you look at my shop, for instance, I think the shop is the most complex in terms of like the node layouts. So these are all like different nodes. So I've got like the hookah here, the hookah smoke, and then there's the hookah smoke background. And then these shelves here are several pieces of art together. So I break everything up depending on what I need. So if I need the pieces to be animated, they have to be separate sprites. All of these elements have to be separate sprites because they're all individually clickable and they all animate in differently. The shopkeep here is its own sprite here. but also this is even cut up even more because the shopkeeper actually animates a little bit. So you see that the animation is very basic. It's just, he just moves up and down and he blinks, which you can't see in the editor because that's not tool script. But so yeah, basically I just draw all the parts in Aseprite on separate layers, and then I export them as necessary in chunks so that I can do that. Okay. Anyway, let's see if that artifact event got added. Got to hit up Twitter and Reddit like crazy. You learned a lot, I see. Yeah, I think I did. I'm so bad at utilizing social media properly for my own company. I need to like hire my kids or something. Yeah, it's tough. Oh, here we go. Artifact. Look at that. So if I go into the artifact, it's going to break, but that's okay. If I go into the artifact, it's going to break, but that's all right. This game is coming along, though. I'm very, very, very optimistic about it. But it's all a matter of the execution. So we go into artifact, and nothing happens because we don't have an artifact event thing. So let's see. Add artifact to map generation. I think that looks good on the map, though, that artifact. So the next thing to do is to create that artifact event container. And that's going to have its own art as well. There's a lot to do. There is no artifact on this map. There's an artifact. I think that looks good. You know, it looks a little bit iffy in the Aseprite file, but I think when it actually gets into the game, it looks pretty decent. Okay. I tried searching for inspiration but found nothing. Is there anything else I can do? And also spend 2 years learning 3D art to make my dream game with my friend. We still make it. Maybe we'll finish. Yeah, I don't know. Inspiration beyond that. Inspiration is like, I don't know. That's kind of a weird one because it's almost like a passive thing. Inspiration kind of has to come to you. I'm sure there's things you can do to like make inspiration more likely to happen, but I don't think it's the same as like a normal skill where you're like, okay, how do I get inspired? I don't know. I wish I had better advice for that. Maybe someone else does. I needed to know that because I've been really struggling with that. Oh, gotcha. Smoke particle looks sick. Thank you, Boogie W. The Holy Chris Z says you need to upload your demo a little bit before going into Next Fest, and it should be the last Next Fest before you release. Yeah, I did not do that with Gunforged. Wanted to say I found your code review videos really useful. Thank you, Soup Noodles. I appreciate that. Glad you're liking them. What are we thinking for the artifact event? Some kind of dig site or something? Yeah, a dig site. I was thinking Indiana Jones. So like have the artifact on a pedestal, maybe in some kind of like cave or something, or a dig site. A dig site might be a good idea too. That's actually an interesting one. Like archaeologist. Map design is lovely. I'm glad you like it. Or someone offering them. No, I was thinking like dig site, yeah. How do you handle global seed values for randomness? Trying to figure out how to have a global seed, then local seeds that build on that. I think the easy way to do it, the way I've approached it, is all of the map configuration is generated ahead of time inside of this seeded run class. Inside of the seeded run class, I can pass a seed into there, or I can just instantiate it with no seed and it will use a random seed. And then it gets generated. And because everything is happening in order with this RNG object being used for the randomization everywhere, all of the map configuration data is generated instantaneously at the initial point, which means that all the combat encounters are going to be the same, all the shop inventories are going to be the same, everything. It's generated ahead of time. Which reminds me, I'm going to need to generate the artifacts ahead of time too, so maybe we'll do that. But yeah, I think this is the way that I've approached it, instead of trying to keep a reference to the RNG consistent throughout the entire code base, I think it's easier to just generate everything inside a container class and have that container class hold all of the data about what you've generated. And then you can pull from that container class for whatever elements need it. That said, I don't think that approach is going to work for something like a procedurally generated world with chunks. But for my purposes, where the randomly generated thing is the map and it's like a finite map, I think this is an easy way to do it. A year ago, I wanted to make 2D Minecraft, but after some time I realized that making 3 years dream game isn't for me. I like working on smaller projects. Yeah, 2D Minecraft is hard. Map is so dim. Are you going to do anything to make icons come out? I'm going to see what the playtesters say, and if I need to, I will maybe offer an option in the settings or something to increase the brightness. That might be the way I do it, like a gamma or something. I don't know how I would do that, but it looks fine on my screen. Like, the colors are very easily distinguishable, but I could see why different devices would have different settings. So I may do, like, you know how games open up and it says adjust until you can see the whatever, you know, adjust the brightness. Maybe I'll do that in this game just to make sure that people are having a good experience. But I'm going to let the playtesters tell me what's up first before I do that. A shady wizard gives you an artifact from inside his robes. Yeah, true. Or like a church cave vault or something. Ooh, yeah. Not sure if you made a video on it, but why do you use C# instead of GScript? No, it's just personal preference. I'm more productive with C#. That's it. That's the only reason. It works on my machine. Yeah, true. Bomb that implodes. Oh no. Hello, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Light sources on the map could be cool. The problem is, if I were to add a lighting system, I think I would do it with a custom shader such that the lighting uses sticks strictly to the color palette that I have. Because otherwise, if I introduce a lighting system that doesn't do that, then it's going to create more colors than the 8 that are available. And I worry that that's going to hamper the visual identity of the game a little bit. So I have to figure it out for sure, but it'll be a solvable problem one way or another. We will figure it out. But I think, yeah, like a light shader that could use the color palette would probably be ideal. But again, I don't know how that would look either. Okay, so in here, we need to generate the artifacts. So let's create a new method in here. Void generate artifacts. Var, let's see. Let's just do this. So for each var node in run map nodes where node event type is artifact, we're going to need to generate an artifact configuration. So let's do that. Private read-only dictionary run map node artifact configuration. Map nodes to artifact configuration. This, let's create a new file, artifact configuration.cs. So I need to choose some artifacts. Do I have an artifact loot manager? Artifact loot table manager, yeah. Pick artifacts. Oops. Pick artifacts, prevent duplicates. Artifact loot table manager dot pick artifacts 3. Oh, I do need to pass in the RNG in here. Do I? I do. Random number generator RNG. Artifact loot table dot set random RNG. Okay. Pick artifacts RNG 3 and prevent duplicates. Why do I have that? Why am I doing that? Allow duplicates false. This returns a list of artifact resource, so we'll turn this to an array. An object reference is required for a non-static field. Why is this not static? Do I have the art loot table? What? Run manager. Artifact loot table manager. Why is this not static? Private static artifact loot table manager instance. Init node instance equals this. If not, is instance valid? Instance return that. Else instance.artifactLootTable.setRandom. Okay. And we can actually just merge this down here. Oh, base artifact. Oh, is this artifact resources? Oh, interesting. Why is this returning? Okay, well, we'll just make this an artifact resource then. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Goodness gracious. Okay, that was a little bit iffy, but let's do that. Generate artifacts. Okay. Ooh, got a lot of chat to catch up on. I have a question about your 2D Survivors course. For me, the provided Kenny impact sounds OGG files load very slowly and take forever to delete as well. For you too, I did not have that problem. What you could try maybe is converting them to WAV files or something else and see if that works. Does C# have union types? I don't think there's strictly union types. Not like TypeScript has union types. No, I don't think so. You have the whitish green for light or the orange. True, yes, yes. Remember the self-imposed color palette limitation and only animate using the game engine. Are there any other self-imposed limitations? No, I don't think so. Not that I can think of right now anyway. Artifact idea. There's some chance that when an enemy hits you, he will hurt himself 150% of damage dealt to you. That is an interesting one. I think it would need a little bit of an extra thing. So I would add maybe an extra thing to it, which is that enemies deal more damage to you, but have a chance to damage themselves. So it's got a little bit of a downside too, because otherwise it's just a pure buff, which there are artifacts that are pure buffs, sure. But for something that's like that powerful, I would probably add a little bit of a extra condition on it, you know what I mean? Generating all data at runtime and storing it can prevent save scumming. If that's an issue you care about, it does make saving and loading a bit more complicated though. Yeah, I haven't thought about saving mid-progress runs. That's something that I have to think about for sure. Drop table videos. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think your SQL injection worked. The icons could have pillars of light next to them on the map. Oh, that's an interesting idea. You planning to seed everything? I'm only seeding, what am I seeding? So the map layout, which events are there, and then some of the events are seeded. So like the shop inventories will be the same if the seed is the same. The artifacts will be the same if the seed is the same. The combat encounters will be the same if the seed is the same. But things like boosters, where you can choose a random card to add to your deck or whatever, to add to your inventory, those remain like separately random. So even on the same seed, the booster selection events will be in the same place, but you're not guaranteed to get the same ones every time. And I think it's a good balance between, because I want people to be able to share seeds, right? But the point is, like, if a seed is exactly the same, like you get exactly the same everything in a seed, it can be, you know, not as fun. So I think making the big things seeded, like the events and how they're configured, while still allowing for a little bit of randomization in terms of like which enchantments you get and which, you know, cards you get, I think that's going to make it more interesting. But I may change that in the future. I don't know. Can get rid of the gravestones no matter what Kinyaz says, and McDonald's and coffee for sustenance. I should make a 2D Survivor game myself after I'm done with the current project. It's one of those games where you can always come up with unique stuff. Yeah, I think it's a really fun genre to make too. So many wacky stuff can be made, yeah. Happy birthday, A the Ant. You reminded us. Can we get happy birthday for everyone? Oh, wait. I'm a little bit late there, but hopefully we get some more happy birthdays for you, A the Ant. Roguelite with the weirdest and most absurd abilities. That sounds fun. I tried to do that with Gunforged. Don't know if I necessarily executed that well. Can you explain when to use casting in GDScript if I want to stick to statics typing? I mean, in a way that won't cause runtime errors. Just type everything early and often is what I would say. Like, type things as soon as you get references to them. Unfortunately, the typing is a little bit iffy, but that would be my advice. I would say if you're going to use typing or casting, just use it everywhere. Should I do a Survivor style game? Oh, should do a Survivor style game, but only use the stuff you find around the house. That would be a fun one. Vampire Survivors is a genre now. It is. Thank you, Yeet, for the happy birthday. I like spinning saw blades or ammonia shooter or hairspray torch. Yeah. Hello, Snupbill. Thank you for the IDR 10,000. Very much appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Welcome back. And we've got the Yummers message that we all look forward to here. Yummers, Yummers. There we go. Late Yummers. Oh, static class, yeah. Are the alchemy outcomes seeded as well? They are not, no. So the alchemy will be randomized too. It doesn't make sense to make those seeded either, because if you already have random cards, the players would have to put the same exact cards in the alchemy station for the seeded runs to even be noticeable. So that's not seeded because it's like, it's very unlikely that you're going to have the same combination of cards anyway. I had a problem with the init function the other day. It was stopping a script from detecting a specific class. Interesting. Thank you for that. Happy birthday for A the Ant. Thank you, Parallel Highway. The nodes you haven't been to can have different art or like a lock on them or something like that. Yeah, I have to figure that out still too, for sure. Okay, let's, I do have to get going. I have a meeting in 20 minutes, but I want to see if this artifact is being generated properly first. Okay, there was no artifact generated there, so we'll do it again. Still no artifact. We'll do it again. We'll do it live. Still nothing. Test data? You mean run the game a bunch until I get the outcome I want? There we go. So let's see what we've got in here. Ritual tier, minion crit chance, and poison heal. Very nice. So that's all working great. Cool. All right. Add artifacts to map generation. So now we have that data. Now it's a matter of creating that artifact event and reading that data. Okay, that's going to be it for the stream today. Thank you everyone for watching. I have to go to my part-time job now. The work never ends, but If you are interested in supporting my work, check out the links in the description below. Gunforged is available for sale, as well as my Udemy courses. Hit the notification bell to be notified when my new content goes live. I will be posting an announcement video when the online cooperative multiplayer course is available. So if you're interested in that, be sure to hit the notification bell. And yeah, everything's in the description below. You can watch my other code review videos and all that stuff. And all these VODs are available as well if you want to go back and watch anything. So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you all for being here. Very much appreciate that. And I will see you in tomorrow's stream at 10 a.m. Eastern. Okay, bye-bye everyone.